teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign. To join the conference as the host, press star. Otherwise, press pound. The host has not yet arrived. Please stand by. Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign. To join the conference as the host, press star. Otherwise, press pound. Please enter your host password, followed. There are 1 participants on the call, including you. You are joining your conference as the host. For a menu of available commands, press star pound.
Chair Massey, good morning or afternoon. Are you on the line?
Is the video link live?
Hello, Chair Massey. Yes, it is. We emailed that to
Yeah.
you.
I know, but I get this link you send me is showing CNN.
I will resend right now. Thank you. One moment, please.
Okay, right.
And thanks for your patience. We're just waiting for one more trustee who's en route, so.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure, Walter, no problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. We had a board office made a slight miscommunication, and they are on their way. Momentarily, we'll proceed. Thank you all.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanking everyone for their patience, and we're going to get started because we now have quorum, so we're ready to go. So thank you for that. And we're really grateful for your presence today. You will note that Chair Massey, I don't know. No, okay. Sorry, technically, I just went to welcoming. I didn't actually call us to. Okay, so good afternoon. The March 12th, 2020 regular board meeting of the City Colleges of Chicago is now called to order. Please join me in standing for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Will Assistant Board Secretary please call the roll?
Trustee Kent? Trustee Tallman?
Present.
Trustee Williams?
Present.
Vice Chair Swanson?
Present.
Chair Massey?
Present.
And Student Trustee Alexander?
Present.
Okay, let the record show that in accordance with the Illinois Public Community College Act and the Illinois Open Meeting Act, we have a quorum. So again, I think you welcome. Thanks for your patience again. And as you heard, Chair Massey is participating in today's meeting by phone, which is allowable under our board bylaws, Article 1.5.3, Sections A through C, provided there is a quorum physically in the room, which we have. So thank you again for your patience. I will facilitate today's meeting because Dr. Massey is on the phone, but I'd like to offer Chair Massey an opportunity to say a few words as well before we get started.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Swanson, and my colleagues on the board, and to all of the students, faculty, and staff who are present today. I'm very sorry I cannot be with you today, but unfortunately I had an unavoidable conflict with today's meeting. In the interest of time, I will be brief. Today, among other activities, the board will consider the reappointments of Chancellor Salgado and Provost Potter. I can say without hesitation that the two of them have shown an unparalleled commitment to the students, faculty, and staff of City Colleges of Chicago. The board has been fortunate to count on both the Chancellor and Provost as partners in our daily work to make this system as impactful for the citizens of our great city as possible. Unfortunately, I must conclude my remarks with the acknowledgement of two significant losses among our CCC family. Isaac Vasquez, a student at Daly College, and J.R. Beamon of Malcolm X, previously Kennedy King College. I did not have the pleasure of knowing either Mr. Vasquez or Ms. Beamon, but from what I've heard and read, they were both bright and full of potential. Our colleges and our city are the less for their absence. We extend our sincere best wishes to the students of Daly, Malcolm X, and Kennedy King, as well as their teachers, friends, and of course, the families of our two students who love them. Vice Chairman Swanson, that concludes my remarks. Thank you again for coordinating the meeting today.
Great, thank you. We will now turn to our student trustee, Trustee Alexander.
Thank you, Trustee Swanson. In the interest of time, I will also be brief with my report. Things across the 7 city colleges have been busy this month with Women's History Month events being planned across the district, including many panels, historical movie showings, and distinctions given to the women who are the champions of the city college system. There are also events recognizing St. Patrick's Day and Earth Day that I will be submitting in detail in my written report. In preparation for the conclusion of this academic year, some extensive planning is ongoing for events specifically for our graduating students, and these include game tickets to our Chicago Blackhawks, see them perform, and a sneaker ball event that is set to take place on a cruise ship on the city's north side. Excluding myself due to unavoidable conflict, many of our student leaders will be participating in the final Illinois Community College Board Student Advisory Committee meeting of the school year, and we'll address some matters that include the upcoming Advocacy Day with our state legislators. The DSGA also moved to attend an earlier Advocacy Day later this month in conjunction with a long-standing partner, the Young Invincibles. I understand that CCC traveled to this event, as well as some other matters that involve CCC travel within and outside of the state of Illinois are pending and subject to cancellation due to the current state of emergency with COVID-19. Although our current state of affairs involving COVID-19 and the ramifications are suboptimal for student affairs, I want to strongly express appreciation and respect for the district's abundance of caution is being directed to the safety of the CCC community. That will conclude my report.
Thank you, Trustee Alexander. Chancellor Salgado.
Yes, thank you. I too will be brief. I would focus my remarks on the health and safety of our students, faculty, and staff as they are a top priority. I want everyone to know that we are working in lockstep with the city and the Chicago Department of Public Health on a coronavirus response. As you know, the situation is changing rapidly. At this time, City Colleges is not closing colleges based on the recommendation of local health authorities. However, last night, we did send out guidance to faculty and administrators asking them to begin planning now for how we could continue instruction in the event of a closure or a pause to face-to-face instruction. This work is obviously being led by our provost, Dr. Mark Potter. We recognize that not all of our students have technology access and are initiating a survey of their resources at home. We also understand that not all courses can be easily moved to a virtual environment. We will work with our presidents and faculty to explore options in the days ahead. Our aim would be to minimize any disruption to learning while being mindful of the changing circumstances regarding this health now pandemic. Any emergency event creates stress. We are encouraging our faculty, staff, and students to be gentle and flexible with themselves and one another. I'm meeting with our team regularly to monitor and respond to the COVID-19 situation. Each college has also identified a team to assist with coordination. We have recently updated our all hazards plans to incorporate COVID-19. We have shared public information at our colleges to remind students, faculty, and staff of the most essential public health guidance, especially to remember to practice basic hygiene by washing your hands, and if you are sick, to stay home. We are doing the elbow greets and all other guidance. We're making hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, and similar products more accessible in public gathering spaces. And in consultation with Chicago Department of Public Health and based on CDC guidelines, we have issued travel guidance for faculty and staff. We've launched a webpage that is a repository for guidance to students, faculty, and staff, www.ccc.edu/coronavirus. This is a supplement to what the Chicago Department of Public Health is providing. I want to stress that the Chicago Department of Public Health site is the site that we should really be going to for the most up-to-date information, as that is being updated on a regular basis. Again, we are following the guidance of the City of Chicago and the Chicago Department of Public Health, and any decisions we make are being done with guidance from the City of Chicago and the Chicago Department of Public Health, and of course, our Board of Trustees here at City Colleges of Chicago. I recognize and appreciate that this is a stressful time. I want to thank everyone for their flexibility and cooperation, as we will need so much more of that in the coming days ahead. I also want to thank our Board of Trustees for their support and their confidence in me as a leader with the resolution that they will consider today. Leading City Colleges is truly an honor. It's a privilege to serve our students, faculty, and staff. After 3 years here, I can generally say I love this place and its people. We have made strong progress since I arrived, in particular in developing the strongest ever relationship with Chicago Public Schools, increasing critical support and resources for our students, putting together, I believe, a very strong team, including 6 new presidential searches and a brand new cabinet, and working to put our finances on firmer financial footing. And I, along with our Provost Mark Potter, will continue to build upon this work in the years to come. We look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. It is now time for public participation. We have 11 requests for public participation today. The chief advisor will call the names of our registered speakers 2 at a time. The first speaker name should proceed to the podium, and the second person should be ready to go up as soon as the first person is done. As was communicated to each of you when your remarks were confirmed, each speaker is allocated up to 2 minutes to make remarks on the topics when you registered to speak, and you will be notified when you've used 1 minute of your time, and again, a minute later to conclude your remarks. We have a large number of requests today, so we'd appreciate everyone adhering to the timeline, and if Chief Advisor Fleming would please proceed.
Thank you, Vice Chair Swanson. Angelia Lambert. And after her, Naima Malone.
First, I only was aware of this platform was February that made out it had 15 investors. One recommendation that I would like to make, and this is not point, but I understand that there's a time limit, and that's due to the severity of the items that are on the screen. My recommendation starting out maybe to display the limits, the cue cards, instead of maybe just disrupting a person. And that's coming from a perspective of a student that has observed how it's conducted. That's
1 minute, please.
And that's something that I strongly recommend. In addition to that, there's some issues regarding gatekeeping that's taking place with scheduling appointments, university or university, and that's something I have recently. Open until 5 p.m., only being open until 1 p.m. respectively.
Please bring your remarks to a close.
To make opportunity for evening and to be able to accept services as well. Sure, it is student centered.
We have Mr. Johnston after Ms. Malone, followed by Kathy Powers.
First, let me quickly actually why there needs to be
to 2 minutes. More speakers than 11 speakers as we have today. Mr. Chair, Chancellor, members of the board, officers of the district, good afternoon. My name is Tony Johnson. I'm the president of the faculty union. The board is going to meet in closed session on the termination of a full-time tenured professor who has been here for over 20 years. I will not go into the details of personnel issues, and I will divulge no names, but I can tell you I have been active in this union for almost 20 years, and this is the most poor display of judgment with regard to the firing of faculty. I urge the board members to ask many questions while you deliberate and before you make this decision, because there is no way that the behavior in question warrants termination. If you terminate, we will have no other recourse than to follow the legal process, eventually leading to arbitration.
1 minute, please.
Then be on the hook for many thousands of dollars in legal fees. The union is willing to discuss more just measures to use. Please consider reaching out. Moreover, it is disturbing that students and community members who have requested to speak on the professor's behalf have been denied their right to speak. While everyone understands the confidentiality of personnel matters, these students wish to speak to the quality instruction that the professor provided and the disruption this has caused their lives and the lack of accurate information and how this situation was communicated to them by the White College administration. I also ask for compassionate pragmatism when it comes to moving forward on the Cook County Jail Education Initiative started by our faculty here at the university. There is absolutely no reason why the agreement hasn't been finalized. Our professors who have been involved are frustrated.
Please bring your remarks to a close.
The students with to move forward. This is true no-brainer in its potential to benefit the city colleges and our community of Chicago. Thank you.
Ms. Powers not being here, Professor Alexander, followed by Professor Bader.
Is that going to take up my time? All right. Is it working? I don't want this to take up my time. Is it working? Okay. I'm here as a full-time faculty member speaking on behalf of incarcerated people in Chicago who cannot be here themselves to tell you how much they want, value, and need educational opportunities inside of Cook County Jail. How do I know what these students think and what to say? Because I know them. They are my students, and I have been their volunteer teacher for nearly 2 years. I speak on behalf of our students with their consent. We have a class that is always fully enrolled, and we have a waiting list that could fill at least 2 more classes. It has been 1 full year since I last addressed this very board with the exact same request I am making today. Please formalize the partnership with our colleagues at the Department of Corrections so that we can offer college coursework inside Cook County Jail. We are asking for this administration and Board of Trustees to simply live up to the mission of this institution. I want everyone to listen to what I'm about to say.
1 minute,
I
please.
further urge you to consider whether you are participating in discrimination against an entire group of people. Our society treats incarcerated people as less than human. I will remind you that we are an open access public institution. I ask to be treated with the respect I have earned from being a teacher for nearly 25 years. Trust and respect your faculty who have actual experience in this setting. And furthermore, trust and respect our community partners at the Sheriff's Office, who hold our well-being in the utmost importance and value our safety as volunteers and also the safety of the detainees. We are not asking for anything special here. We just want to teach. It's what we do. Thank you.
Professor Bader, followed by George Rambanis.
Hello, my name is Jess Bader, and I've been a professor here at Harold Washington College for 20 years. I'm here today to speak about my concerns regarding CCC's initiative for educational programming inside Cook County Jail. Almost 3 years ago, faculty formed a committee to address a request from Sheriff Dart, who was featured on an NPR article. The article described the Sheriff's Department's frustrations with helping young people inside Cook County Jail. While Sheriff Dart expected a lot of community support to work with these individuals, he found overall community support to be lacking. Our mission at CCC is to act proactively to eliminate barriers to employment, to address and overcome casual factors underlying socioeconomic disparities, access and graduation in higher education. Sheriff Dart request aligns with the mission of our colleges. Faculty would like to formalize teaching inside Cook County Jail, but we have been unable to because the final draft of the MOU is still incomplete. We've been waiting for nearly 3 years. I've been a volunteer teaching inside Division 10 for almost 2 years.
1 minute,
Division
please.
10 is inside Cook County Jail. This facility houses individuals who have not yet been before a judge. And they are mostly poor and cannot afford bail. Many of my students have been inside anywhere from 2 to 9 years. I've seen the victims of inequality in the faces of each of my students. Almost every student inside I have taught now how to draw has been homeless as a child, food insecure, and a survivor of trauma or violence. Why shouldn't the men of Division 10 have access to education? These individuals need opportunities and crave education. They are fathers, uncles, friends, brothers, grandfathers, all of who will eventually return to society. Wouldn't it be better if they could leave with a degree or with a year of college under their belt? Why can't the City Colleges of Chicago create an educational pipeline from jail to college? Please help us with our request to finalize the MOU needed to officially start this program and to help us educate some of the most vulnerable Chicagoans. Please formalize the MOU and finish it. Thank you.
Shelley Zizuk, and followed by Greg Gather.
And before I start, I do have a handout. I emailed it in, but I have a handout that I'm going to just leave with you with some numbers. So, okay, so good afternoon. My name is Shelley Zissuk. I'm a standards proficient math instructor at Truman College, and I'm currently enrolled in the ICCB Math Specialist Training. I have many years' experience teaching math in both the public and private sectors. My advanced GED students, wonderful individuals that they are, often juggle class attendance with their other responsibilities, including work, home, family, appointments, sick children, childcare needs, public school schedules, and special needs, either their own or those of children or other family members. Class attendance often or can take a backseat to life's obligations, no matter how motivated my students are. To be successful, they need flexibility. People who know me know that numbers speak to me. I hope that the numbers that I'm about to present will also speak to you. The first set of numbers that I'd like you to consider are 2, 1, 50%, and 16, 12, 25%. These numbers refer to a decrease per term from 2 courses to 1, or a loss of 50% in course offerings.
1 minute,
course
please.
Offerings, and a decrease from 16 to 12 instructional hours per week, or a loss of 25% of time in class. These numbers show a reduction in hours a student can spend learning in class and hours that I, as an adult educator, am employed to provide instruction to my students. The second set of numbers I'd like you to think about are 32%, 704, and 480. 32% is the percentage of total instructional hours lost with the implementation of 96-hour classes. Under the pre-fall 2019 schedule, a student had the opportunity to spend 704 hours a semester learning both math and reading. Since fall 2019, most students working to attain their GED or high school equivalency are only able to receive 480 hours of instruction, having to choose math or reading. This has, in effect, increased the length of time necessary for a student to attain a high school equivalency credential.
Please bring your remarks to a close.
Okay, the last set of numbers I'd like you to consider are 96 and 192. It took my high-level math students.
Ms. Zizuk, please bring your
Okay.
remarks to a close. Thank you.
Okay, so the reduction in instructional hours has raised an important question. Are we as educators really providing the best opportunity for our students to learn and master the concepts needed for them to succeed on a high school equivalency exam and in life? Thank you. And those are, those are the
Mr. Gaither is followed by Keith Brewer.
Good evening. My name is Greg Gaither. I am a doctoral student at the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. I'm also a proud alumnus of the City Colleges of Chicago, Malcolm X College. I'm here before you today to address the issue of college and prison programs. I'm also a founder of the Woodlawn Reentry Project operating in the Woodlawn community, as well as an adjunct professor of criminal justice at Lewis University in Romeoville and the College of DuPage in DuPage County. Also worked inside the Cook County Department of Corrections as a social worker for the Chicago Public Schools, as well as the Juvenile Detention Center. Let me just say that Illinois is the founder of community colleges. First community college in the nation was founded at Joliet Community College. Then and now,
1 minute,
community
please.
colleges are the primary points of access for low-income and working-class communities. Our most educationally vulnerable, as the speaker before me pointed out, the most educationally vulnerable individuals are those who are coming out of incarceration. The City Colleges of Chicago lags far behind the East Coast, the West Coast, the entire nation in putting together a pathway, education pathway for individuals who are coming out of incarceration. I urge this board to move forward on the MOU to implement the college prison program at the Cook County Department of Corrections. And hopefully that can be done very expeditiously. Thank you.
Mr. Spruer is followed by Heather Coffey.
Approximately 41% of incarcerated individuals do not hold a high school diploma, and only 24% have a college degree. Individuals younger than 21 who are released from prison are rearrested at the highest rates of any group, 60.4%. Those who had a college degree, 19.1%. In 2016, the RAND Corporation produced a report that showed that individuals who participated in any type of educational program while in jail were 43% less likely to return to prison, and the education they receive can improve outcomes from one generation to the next. Over the past 2 years, faculty from the city colleges have been desperately trying to offer different types of educational opportunities in Cook County Jail. During these past 2 years, we have heard from Chairman Massey, Chancellor Salgado, and Provost Potter that they are in full support of this initiative. Also, over these 2 years, we have heard time and time again that the MOU to do this work would be coming soon. Perhaps the word soon is relative to individuals who have enjoyed the benefit of an education. But to the almost 5,000 individuals who are detained in divisions in Cook County Jail that we could be serving, the relative soon isn't soon enough. CCC is poised to offer the types of educational opportunities that could change the lives of many, not just the detainees, but their families and our city. While these individuals suffer the indignities of being detained, and they are many, they also suffer the subtle indignity of the city colleges through our inaction, saying that they aren't worthy of the basic right of an education. Not only is it an indignity, but it is a type of violence that we visit upon them when we deny them opportunities to change their lives for the better, thus relegating them to lives that may be defined by dire poverty and violence in perpetuity. They may die sooner, and they will either return to prison or forever be oppressed by the watchful eye of our criminal justice system. It is an embarrassment and possibly a sign of moral depravity that we do nothing when we could be agents of change. We are asking that the MOU that the General Counsel has been working on for the last 2 years be completed soon and not in the relative sense.
Thank you. Thank you.
Heather Coffey. Heather Coffey. Vice Chair Swanson, that concludes public comment.
Okay, thank you, and thank you again for being here today. We will now proceed with the March Faculty Council report. Okay. Dr. Tapane Sinihosa? Thank you.
Being in the classroom all these days doesn't make me necessarily not worry, but not afraid of the microphone. So, good afternoon. Chair Massey on the phone, Chancellor Salgado, members of the board, officers of the district, faculty, staff, and all others present, and online also. Time flies, and we are currently finishing week 9 of the regular semester at CCC. Students have 8 more weeks to finish the spring 2020 semester, including the week of spring break, which is approximately 4 weeks from today. By saying this, we need to consider addressing in more specific and intentional ways some potentially impactful health issues that could affect our entire CCC community at any time in any of the colleges. Yes, of course, I'm referring to the rise of, the COVID-19 cases across the state of Illinois, impacting already at least 1 CPS vocational high school and 1 private high school in Wilmette. We applaud the special announcement sent by the Chancellor and the Provost last Monday as well as the one sent yesterday by the provost about exploring online or other remote possibilities to finish the spring semester if CCC has to go the same route of other higher education institutions across the nation and the state, including Northwestern University yesterday, and DePaul, Southern Illinois, Illinois State, and the University of Illinois system as of today. However, we would like to see more specific sanitary measures taken at each of the colleges as of last Monday. Some initial suggestions would be, they have been made here, but we don't see them at the colleges. Some initial suggestions would be as simple as making hand sanitizer wipes or disposable gloves available to students, faculty, and staff, or to consider possible preventive measures for students and personnel. Remember that faculty and staff usually exchange materials with students, and that many of our students and part-time employees have no health insurance coverage or sick days available to miss work days. These are human issues that could seriously impact our academics in the short run if we are not proactive. I want to be clear that being proactive does not mean creating panic. It means being intentional about disseminating an organized preventive plan of action. Over the last 2 weeks, we have seen, and this is a different topic, Chicago, CityWire, and WBEZ devote at least 3 different articles to the city colleges of Chicago. One dealing with developmental education, another about CCC raising tuition due to a $17 million budget gap, and another about CCC enrollment dropping 25% in 5 years. Instead of reading those articles distrustfully because of their content, it might be easier to simply implement more intentionally effective and open PR at CCC to communicate our current achievements and challenges to the Chicago community. Instead of having CCC board enrollment updates, like in the board presentation, seems to be happening for today, or maybe it's gonna be just online. Moving forward, reporters are doing their job. And by providing them with our CCC direct channel of information, the CCC community may avoid possible misunderstandings generated between what is published in the local news and what the CCC leadership does not explicitly announce. I will go ahead and move forward from the report in relation to the committee work, because you can read that in the CCC board. And for the sake of time here, not for our students and our faculty and staff at the colleges, I will just consider saying that the Impact Summit planning is moving forward. But again, we need to consider that indoors event involving, audience attending could be impacted pending future recommendations from the Chicago Department of Public Health. As a reminder, CCC Faculty Council continues to await the approval and implementation, I'm sorry to say it again, of the Memorandum of Understanding between Cook County Jail and the City Colleges of Chicago by the CCC Board. CCC Faculty Council also continues to support our adjunct faculty in their current negotiations. On a final note, and even if instructors, department chairs, program directors, and administrators should not be deciding on their own to pause face-to-face instruction, per Provost Potter's special announcement from yesterday night, we expect the timely announcement of a more specific defined emergency plan of action in relation to the COVID-19 propagation risks in the Chicago area, and based on the disaster proclamation announced by Governor Pritzker at the beginning of this week. This concludes my report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. We are going to defer the presentation on enrollment today, but the slides are available online. And we'll look forward to hearing from the team at a future meeting. So we are going to move with that to closed session. There is no committee report as well today. So now, in accordance with the Illinois Open Meetings Act, the board may hold a closed session for the discussion of matters related to a number of specified topics. Today's closed session will be for the discussion of matters related to 2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body. 2C2, collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employers or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees. 2C11, litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. And 2C8, security procedures, school building, safety and security, and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an annual, a threatened, or reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, the public, or public property. So may I have a motion to go into a closed session with a roll call vote?
So moved.
Do you have to do roll call?
Trustee Kent?
Approved.
Trustee Williams?
Approved.
Student Trustee Alexander?
Approved.
Vice Chair Swanson?
Approved.
Chair Massey? Chair Massey?
I had you on mute. Approved.
Great, thank you. With that, we are going into closed session. That has been approved. As a reminder, this room will remain open. The live feed will remain active, although you will see a notice that the board is now going to close session. For those of you who decided to depart before we return today, please visit our website at www.ccc.edu for information on our next board meeting. Let the record show that the closed session motion has been approved, and we will be back.
Chair Massey, are you back with us?
I am back with you.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome.
Okay, thank you. The March 12th, 2020 regular board meeting is now reconvened. There was no action taken during this closed session. We will now review the items on the March 12th, 2020 regular board meeting consent agenda. This month, all items for board action are on the consent agenda, which is printed on the orange paper you hopefully picked up outside this room. The following officers will review the board reports. Dr. Potter will review Resolution 1.00. General Counsel will review Resolution 1.01. And Chief Advisor Fleming will report on Resolutions 1.02 and 1.03. We'll continue with Chief Talent Officer Dunning reviewing items 2.00, followed by Vice Chancellor Brown's review of item 3.00. And General Counsel, again, will conclude by reviewing item 6.00. With the aforementioned staff continue just one after another as in other meetings, unless a trustee raises a question. And then Provost Potter, you'll lead us off.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Resolution 1.00 adopts revisions to the board-approved academic and student policies. Twice yearly, City Colleges administers
What happened?
Okay, that sounds better. So I want to note briefly that the process is one that has worked well and continues to work well. As part of the process, faculty and administration are having critical conversations about student-centered policy. We don't rush the process. There's time built in along with ample review to get it right. Policy changes this round include addition of the STAR Scholarship to the student honors that are part of the academic and student policies, adjustments to our processes for verifying Chicago residency and thus in-district tuition, including acceptance of the Chicago Municipal ID card as a valid form of residential verification, automatic in-district tuition rates for any student receiving veterans educational benefits consistent with state law. Provisions for faculty to record the last date of active pursuit for any student who receives a failing grade, consistent with U.S. Department of Education requirements. Clarification that wellness centers provide clinical services available to students only. Reporting and notification consistent with the Clery Act regarding incidents of dating violence, domestic violence, or sexual assault, and new policies relevant to libraries and district-wide closures.
Resolution
Hello?
1.01 requests approval of the settlement discussed in closed session.
Trustees, the next two resolutions, 1.02 and 1.03, are reappointment resolutions for Chancellor Salgado and Provost Potter pursuant to the information in your packet for terms of 3 years, beginning with July 2020. Thank you.
Hi. Board Item 2.0 is a request to approve the March 2020 Personnel Report, excluding item number 7 under Promotions Title Salary Changes. This leaves us with 35 actions, including 13 new and rehires, 10 promotions and title changes, and 12 resignations.
This month's Resource Development Report includes new grants submitted in the amount of $3,607,153. Primarily submissions to DFSS for early childhood and Head Start programs. Also, we're excited to share that this month, 4 of our 7 colleges submitted TRIO Student Support Services grants to the Department of Education, 2 of which were renewals and 2 of which were new. This
Item 6.0 requests approval of legal fees totaling $84,268.50. Such legal fees cover litigation, corporate, employment, and higher ed matters.
Okay. What?
What's separate? So just pull that first.
Yeah, no, I just want, yeah, I got it. Okay. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, but we are going to pull the personnel report 2.00, vote on that separately. Any others? No. Okay. So do you want to do personnel first, Tracy, or do you want me to?
That would be fine, Vice Chair. Thank you.
Okay. So we will pull personnel,
That would be item
do you need a single
2.00.
2.00, we will vote on that first, and I believe we need a single roll call vote for that. Will Assistant Board Secretary call the roll?
Vice Chair, you might like a motion in a second.
Oh, sorry. Motion and second. For this is
Second.
personnel, 2.00, just to make absolutely clear. Okay, second. Now can we have the roll call vote?
Trustee Kent? Trustee Tallman?
Approved.
Trustee Williams?
Approved.
Student Trustee Alexander?
Approved.
Vice Chair Swanson?
Approved.
Chair Massey?
Approved.
Okay, thank you all. Personnel report has been approved. We will go back to the remainder of, let's see, motion to approve all the resolutions, resource development report, and the legal invoices contained in the consent agenda as identified as part of the printed agenda on a single roll call vote. Can I please have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Thank you.
Trustee Kent? Trustee Tallman?
Approved.
Trustee Williams?
Approved.
Student Trustee Alexander?
Approved.
Vice Chair Swanson?
Approved.
Chair Massey?
Approved.
Okay, thank you all. Please let the record show that the resolutions, the resource development report, and legal invoices included on the printed March 12th, 2020 consent agenda have all been approved as well. There being no further business to come before the board, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion carried, and we are adjourned. Thank you all for attending today.
Ta-da!
Ms. Walter.